Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsachanunamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. We continue our study of chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. In this chapter, Bhagavan is explaining the Tat-pada, the nature of absolute. Bhagavan mentioned Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. Bhagavan said, other than me, there is nothing greater. Mai Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Maniganaiva in Shloka number 7, Bhagavan said that other than me, there is nothing. And just like a invisible thread holds the entire necklace together, in the same way, I am the Sutratma, which holds the entire pluralistic world. It upholds the whole world. It supports the whole world. When we say that Bhagavan supports the whole world, it is not like the chair which is supporting me, that the chair is different than me. That is not what Bhagavan is saying. What Bhagavan means by support is, Shankaracharya ji defines as Dirgha Tantushu Patavat, like a long single thread which is woven into a fabric. And the support of the fabric is nothing but the cotton thread. So cotton is the support of the entire cloth. You remove the cotton thread and there remains no cloth. You remove the wood from the table and there is no such thing as table other than the wood. So the wood is the support of the table. In the same way, in the entire world of the pluralistic phenomenon which appears in front of us, Bhagavan is the support of it, and this is to be understood. And this is what Bhagavan is saying as Jnanam. Vignan is applying that knowledge in our day-to-day transaction, in our moment-to-moment transaction, and that is what we are seeing in, we saw shlokas 8, 9, and 10. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayohu pranava sarva vedeshu shabda khe paurusham drushum. I am, Bhagavan says, Rasaha Aham Apsu Konteya. I am the very rasa, I am the very sapidity in the water, the ability for the water to wet. Then Prabha Ahamasmi Shashi Suryayohu. This morning was such a beautiful Sharat Purnima. The moon was setting in the early hours of the morning in the Western hemisphere as the sun was rising. And the light of the sun and the very light of the moon is none other than me, Prabha Ahamasmi. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, and in all Vedas, all mantras are nothing but the three Vedas are reduced to Rigyajusam to Bhubhuvaswa, and Bhubhuvaswa is reduced to Om. So Pranava. Sarva Vedeshu, I am this Uma, the support of the entire Vedas. I am the Shabda Brahma. Oh, Bhagavan is saying. In this way, Punyo Gandha Pruthivyam, I am the divine fragrance in the earth. Tejasmi Vibhavaso, I am the very Tejas brilliance in the very fire. Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu, in all life forms. Sarvabhuteshu, I am the very principle of life. Jivanam, the ability for that very delicate butterfly to fly, the ability for the flies to hover over articles of leftover food, or even bother cows and various animals, and the ability for the fly to do what it does, relentless. In the minute you move it, shoo it off, again it comes back. How many times we keep on moving? It is the very tenacity of the fly to do what it does. We have to learn to see that Bhagavan in it. And tapasvi jasmi tapasvishu. All this Bhagavan is saying, balam balavatam asmi Viddhi Partha Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhimatamasmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham. This shloka number 10, which is on the screen. Balam Balavatamasmi. Bhagavan is saying that I am the very strength in the strong. And Shankaracharya ji says, Swadharma Anushtanam Samarthyam Balam. Balam is not just pushing someone into the wall or punching someone. That is not the balam over here. The balam, Shankaracharya ji very beautifully says that the ability for the one to uphold dharma, that requires strength. Balam balavatamasmi swadharma anushtanam balam. Very difficult to follow one's own duties. When push comes to shove, the first thing to go is our own duties. So Bhagavan very beautifully over here explains, I am the ability in the a strong person to adhere to their own dharma. Balam balavatam asmi. Kamaraga vivarjitam, and I am this Kama Raga Vivarjitam. I am the desire, I am devoid of uh, desire and attachment. Balam Balavatamasmi Kamaraga Vivarjitam. So that strength, the bala, which abides in Swadharma, which is devoid of kama and raga. Kama is desire and raga is attachment. So the ability to do one's own duty without desire and without a sense of attachment. So offering our very best in the samashti yajna of life, we own up our life, we own up our activities from morning to evening. It is my. My alarm woke me up. My duties, because of that, I have to wake up, get ready, do what I have to do. I have to go to my work. I have to earn my money. I have to take care of my children. I have to uh, take care of my family, my parents. All this, my, it adds up and it completely hijacks our intelligence in living. Our own awareness in living is hijacked, and that awareness becomes a subset of a tunnel vision of I, me, and mine. It becomes a prisoner of the ego. But over here, strength, swadharma anushtanam, balam kamaraga vivarjitam. Understanding that this life is a gift and this life is an opportunity for me to grow and stand into my own personal being that I always am, and that is I am the absolute truth. And it is in a silent awareness, it is owned up. And when that is owned up in the silent presence of our own mind, without anybody even realizing that we are serving the altar of divine creation, and I'm serving the giant yajna of creation and doing my part, whatever it is, however small it is, however big it is, whether recognized, whether not recognized, everything is immaterial. It is a privilege to serve in this samashti yajna. This understanding is vijnana. That is what Bhagavan is saying. Balam balavatam asmi kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Hey Bharatarshava, oh best among, Bhagavan over here says, best among the lineage of Bharat, Arjuna, हे भरतर्षभ भूतेषु धर्म धर्म अविरुद्धः कामः अहमस्मि. I am, Bhagavan says, I am the desire which is not against dharma. Meaning, I am even the divine desire. There are so many desires because of which we are pushed here and pushed there. And to truly, truly live our life, even to abide in one's own swadharma, there is a desire to follow that dharma. And that kamna, I am, to observe that, oh Lord, I am doing this action because other than you, oh Lord, who else would be there other than you to instigate the genesis of the actions that I do? All dharmic actions that I do. Thus, dharma aviruddho bhuteshu aham kamaha asmi. Hey Bharatarshava, this is very important, very, very beautiful. This understanding that I am, and then in my absolute nature, I am. But this absolute nature, which is trapped as a jiva, then Paramatma is the fuel behind the jiva to do what the jiva does. Understanding my absolute nature is jnanam, and accepting my relative nature based upon the teachings of Vedanta, that is also jnanam. And then accepting the destiny of this jiva to walk on the path of dharma and to take all these desires which are allowing me to walk the path of dharma, other than Bhagavan, who else will be there? This acceptance, this understanding is Vijnanam. This is a very deep thought Bhagavan has presented. We continue shloka number 11 now. Balam balavatam कामराग विवर्जितम धर्मा विरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोस्मि भरतर्षभा. We just saw this one. We continue. Shloka number 12. Ye chaiva sattvika bhavaha राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि. This is very, very important shloka. This is ye chaiva sattvika bhavaha rajasas tamasascha ye matta eveti tan viddhi natvaham teshu te mayi. This natvaham teshu te mayi, this is a mahavakya. This is Vijnanam. you may underline this Natvaham Teshu Te Mayi. You can underline that. This is very, very important. So the shloka says, Ye chaiva satvikaha bhavaha, whatever bhava, ye chaiva satvikaha bhavaha, whatever the sattvic, over here Gurudev talks about as the pure, the goodness, the divine. Rajasas tamasaschaye. Rajasa, all the mode of passion, as it is said over here. And Gurudev takes it as active, the activity portion of Prakriti, and tamasas, the mode of ignorance. So the mode of knowledge, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance, Gurudev takes it as pure, active, and inert. Basically, this entire world of plurality is reduced to sattva, rajas, and tamas. The sattva guna gives birth to knowledge aspect, mind, and buddhi. The sentient beings are nothing but the expression of the sattva guna of Prakriti. Then we have the rajo guna of Prakriti. And the rajo guna of the Prakriti is none other than the sattva guna is, like I said, jnanam. And jnanam is none other than, all the deities, the devatas that preside over the entire universe, which allows the universe to function. That is the sattvic aspect, which allows the jivas to function. And the individual rajoguna of the jiva rashi, of all beings, the active principle in this creation, that which is alive, and the cyclic portion of creation which allows the entire world, the entire creation to move forward, is the rajoguna, the mode of passion, the mode of activity, and tamasaha, the mode of inactivity, the mode of ignorance, the matter principle. In this way, the living beings, the sentient principle, the living beings, and the inert world of objects is what is referred to as sattva, rajas, and tamas. Bhagavan says, matta eva iti. From me, the world has emerged. And having emerged from me, Bhagavan says that they are all in me, but I am not in them. Bhagavan says, matta eveti tan vidhi. Arjuna, come to know that matta, from me, all of this has come about. Natu aham teshu mai. I am not in them. Natu aham. I am not in this variety as the variety principle or what has come out of it, but they are in me. What is said over here, what Bhagavan is saying is, I am the independent principle. All these things, beings, objects which have come about, they don't limit me. They are in me. Having come out from me, they are in me. But if we look at a stone, Bhagavan says, the stone is in me, but I am not trapped as the stone-ness. That is what Bhagavan is saying. The principle of Sat, the ability to uphold the principle of existence, Bhagavan is. But Bhagavan is not the jada-ness of the stone. The stone is in Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is not defined as stone. All the jivas are in Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is not particular jiva. Bhagavan is beyond the jiva. Bhagavan is beyond the stone. And all the devatas, Aditya Devata, Chandrama Devata, Dik Devata, which allows us to hear, Vayu Devata, which allows us to feel, Ashwini Kumaras, the presiding devatas of nose, smell, and Varuna Devata for taste. Like that, all these devatas which serve us, the sattvic principle which allows the indriyas to function, it is the very Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman, this Sat Chit Anand, this Chit aspect gives birth to knowledge, awareness. So the hearing faculties in Bhagavan, the seeing faculties in Bhagavan, the feeling faculties in Bhagavan, the ability for the tongue to taste, and the Varuna Devata is in Bhagavan. But Bhagavan is not a particular Devata. Bhagavan is beyond. This understanding is Vijnana. And what does this allow us to do? It allows us to worship one God as many forms. It allows us, when we pick up some water, we are reminded that this is Bhagavan. When we pick up a book, we are reminded it is Bhagavan. When we wear clothes, we are reminded that this is Bhagavan. Whatever we do, it is a continuous reminder that all this is in Bhagavan. But I cannot become a fanatic and start saying that bus, this stone murti of Narayana is Bhagavan and that is it. That is called fanaticism. To prevent that, Bhagavan is saying, I am not in them, they are in me. They are in me in understanding. It is in understanding. And I am not in them is wisdom. So jnanam and vijnanam. Vijnanam is realizing Bhagavan is everything, and yet Bhagavan is beyond it. I cannot capture Bhagavan in some mode of Prakriti of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Bhagavan is Shuddha Sattva. Is beyond even the Sattva, which we know it as Malina Sattva. It is Malina Sattva because the Sattvic has some amsha of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. This is just how it is. The whole Prakriti. Various shades of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. There are intelligent people, the Chetana Shakti is very high. And there are people who are not so intelligent. But we cannot call them devoid of Chetana Shakti. Chetana Shakti is there. The expression of the Chetana Shakti via the equipment which is sharp makes us think that they are very smart. But consciousness is consciousness. Whether in a smart person or whether in an average person, the principle of awareness is. And this principle of awareness is to be known. And upon knowing it, Vijnana is invoking it in everything and yet realizing it is beyond. This is what Bhagavan is saying. I am not dependent upon this world. The world depends upon me, and I am beyond the modes of Prakriti. Prakriti cannot function without Purusha. But Purusha can independently exist. And that is Vijnana. That understanding, that knowledge is Vijnana, is what Bhagavan is saying over here in this shloka. Again, this para prakriti and apara prakriti, which we had seen, this apara prakriti is apurna and para prakriti is purna. It is complete. It has no dependence. And apara prakriti, it has dependence. The sattva mode is the mode of goodness. The sattva guna depends upon the principle of Satchit Anand. Tamo guna, it is the existence principle. It is. Sattvic is Anand, Anantam, Anandam. And Rajoguna is, it is borrowing the principle of awareness. So Sat, Chit, Anand, all this is what is explained over here, and the understanding is to be processed. Tribir Gunamayir Bhavaihi. Oh, let me. Tribir Gunamayir Bhavaihi Ebhi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyah paramavyayam. So Bhagavan is saying that Tribhir Gunamayayir Bhavaihi, all these bhavnas, all these bhavaihi, which bhav? The Sattva bhav, the Rajas bhav, the Tamo bhav, Tribhi, all these three Gunamayayi, the three gunas, the these three gunas, the state of being dependent upon the three gunas, abhi, all of this, sarvam idam jagat, mohitam. The whole universe is enveloped in this ignorance and delusion of the three gunas of Prakriti. This Prakriti is very powerful. This illusion, we have taken it for real. And this illusion which we have taken for real, Bhagavan is saying is, this whole world is deluded. Na abhijanati, they don't know, na abhijanati, mam ebhya param avyayam. My absolute nature beyond the three gunas, above these, ebhya param bhavam, my absolute nature, avyayam, the imperishing, the inexhaustible, the immutable nature, that which does not decay, that absolute nature of mine, na bijanati, people do not know. Even after studying Vedanta, Vedanta makes sense. One comes to understand Vedanta because not much is required to understand Vedanta. Vedanta is quite simple. But people cannot come to live into it. Number one, people don't want to live life of dharma. Second, people don't want to invoke living in awareness because it requires effort. They would rather be running on autopilot mode of desires. Number three, the temptations to enjoy this world is very high. To realize param avyayam, we have to give up everything, and people are not willing to give up. We are not willing to give up our little joys. We are hooked, we are trapped by our own doing. Even after understanding it, even after learning Vedanta, it is difficult for us to practice it. That is why Bhagavan is saying that mohitam na abhijanati. Those who are deluded by this world, they don't come to know mamebhyah paramavyayam. My glorious nature, of absolute presence, absolute abidance, my absolute nature of pure existence, awareness, and bliss. I am, I am, I am. I am beyond this mode of Prakriti. Even 5 minutes, if we can silence our mind of desires and invoke this and dwell in it, it brings us tremendous comfort. But the minute we wake up from our meditation, it is as though we are attacked by Maya. And we forget what we were meditating upon. That is called mohitam na abhijanati. The delusion creeps in so quickly, so instantaneously, that we forget to live. This is what Bhagavan is saying. Pramad, erroneousness, alas, nidra, sleep. So, because of these things, Bhagavan is saying that I am not known to people. So from shloka number 13 to shloka number 19, Bhagavan is now giving samsara karanam, the cause for samsara. This world is just a projection. Bhagavan has only projected the universe. Bhagavan has not created samsara. Samsara is not created. Mohitam na abhijanati. The power that we give Maya to delude us and for us to spiral down into ignorance, that is samsara karanam. And that is what Bhagavan is explaining from the shloka number 13 up to 19. Why we cannot dwell in Vijnana. Even after coming to know that everything is Bhagavan, we all know it. We've heard it so many times, but we are unable to dwell in it. And the reason we are unable to dwell in it is what Bhagavan is explaining over here as samsara karan. So now, if there is a cause for samsara, there has to be some samsara nivrutti. There has to be a cause for the removal of samsara. Daivi yesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So Bhagavan is saying that the Devi hi esha gunamayi. This Maya, Bhagavan refers to Maya as number one, Devi. She's a divine goddess. Now, if we uh, if Bhagavan refers to creation as Devi, then we have to give that due respect of Devi. Imagine you go to a temple and you see Padmavati, Mother Lakshmi. Now, when we see Mother Lakshmi, we bow down, we offer some fruits, dakshina, kumkum. Now, when we look at this world, how do we treat this world? Do we treat this world with hatred? This is what we have to really contemplate on. We are uncomfortable with our prarabdha, our destiny. We may even blame our parents for our upbringing. They didn't give me proper knowledge like others have. I should have had that. We can blame our parents. We blame our fate. We blame our near and dear ones. And if we do that, we are not respecting the world as Devi. There's a reason why Bhagavan has used this powerful word, Devi. He Esha Gunamayi. She, a divine empress, a divine goddess. She is Gunamayi. When we go to the temple, I just gave an example of Lakshmi ji, We bow down, we offer dakshina, so on and so forth. And in the 108 names of Lakshmi ji, it starts with Prakrutim, Vikrutim, Vidyam, Sarva Bhuta Hita Pradam. She Prakruti and Vikruti. That's Lakshmi ji. So, whatever comes in front of us, we have to salute it. We have to improve our relationship with this world. And it's not going to happen at the other end. It has to happen on our end. And on our end, it has to happen at the level of understanding. This is knowledge. Vignan is regarding this world as a divine principle. Devi hi esha gunamayi. Mama maya duratyaya. Bhagavan refers to this divine maiden of creation as Mama. She's mine. Duratyaya. She is very, very difficult to overcome, very difficult to cross. Very difficult to conquer. She's not easily conquerable. That is what Bhagavan is referring to over here. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. Bhagavan says, those who Mameva Ye Prapadyante, those who surrender to me. How do we surrender to Bhagavan? What is a methodology to surrender to Bhagavan? We can teach a child, come, we have come to the temple, get down on your knees and bow down. Let your head touch the floor. Fold your two hands and bow your head down. We can teach this to a child. Bow down to Bhagavan. But when Bhagavan says, Mameva ye prapadyante, those who surrender to me. What is surrender? What is meant over here as surrender is to invoke knowledge. Bhagavan is the support of this Maya. Bhagavan is the eternal principle. He is Para, absolute. And this world is Apara. So that which is Param, we have to invoke. Oh, he's eternal. He's divine. He's absolute. And this absolute is all pervading. How? He is the sapidity in the water. He's the light in the fire. He's the strength in the strong. He is the very fragrance of the earth, the ability of the tree to grow and express flowers and fruits is Bhagavan. And to treat this world with great amount of regard and respect is called Mavmeva Ye Prapadyante. This is called surrender. Invoking Bhagavan. Someone can sit in the corner and sing, and they can dissolve themselves into the awareness of Bhagavan. Krishna awareness, Shiva awareness, Devi awareness. The one who is a karma yogi puts the mind and the buddhi to where the hands are, and internally is offering these actions to Bhagavan. The yogi who's sitting and meditating, he's invoking Bhagavan in meditation. So whether through the path of karma, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, whichever mode of living one is comfortable with, one is invoking Bhagavan, that is called Mameva Ye Prapadyante. It is not just invoking Bhagavan for 2 minutes in the morning when we light the lamp, and then Bhagavan is forgotten until the next morning when the lamp is lit. That is not called Mameva Ye Prapadyante. Over here, Prapatti is a function of Jnanam. And to surrender to that Jnanam is Vijnanam. And both Jnanam and Vijnanam combined is called Mameva Ye Prapadyante. Prapatti is a function of Jnanam and Vijnanam. To sit down and start arguing with somebody else on what is Bhagavan, we have to let go of it. Why someone, our own children, silently, Gurudev used to say, spirituality is an evolution, it is not a revolution. We are not fighting battles. There is no scope for conversion. Who are we converting? For what purpose are we converting? If we can convert our mind to the altar of prapatti, surrender, it is the greatest feeling. And abidance in that Bhagavan. Nothing greater than this. That is called Mameva Ye Prapadyante. Maya Metam Taranti. Every step of the way, we surrender to Bhagavan. Devi, the divine Maya, will have no clutches on us. Rajarajeshwari Lalita Mahatripura Sundari, her description of Mahamaya, Manorupekshu Kodanda Panchatan Matra Sayaka, Pashankushadhara. The upper two hands have Pasha and Ankusha. The left hand lower has a sugarcane bow, and the other lower hand has 5 flowers representing the 5 tanmatras through which the world is created. She is the goddess of creation. Thus, she is known as Rajarajeshwari, the divine Maya. Those who cannot invoke Bhagavan, that sugar cane is very fused together, the knots are so close, there is no sweetness in that mind. But those who have invoked Bhagavan, the distance between two knots is so huge, they are reveling in sweetness. And the Pasha and Ankush, the rope of samsara, she has loosened. And that Ankusha, which holds the person over there, she lets go. Mam pahi sarveshwari moksha datri. In Durga Pancharatnam. Te dhyana yoganugata apashyan. Tvameva devi swagunai nigudha. This is what is described over here. How does one come to surrender to this divine Empress? When we invoke her consort, who she sits upon as Panchapretasanasina, and the invigorating factor of Chit Chaitanya, because she is born out of the fire of consciousness, Chidagni Kunda. That Devi, when we invoke the Chit in the Kunda of our mind, she lets go of Pasha and Ankusha, and she allows us to relish the taste of Ananda as the sweetness of the Ikshudanda, which represents our mind. That is what is described over here as Mame Vaye Prapadyante Mayametam Tarantite. They are able to cross. The others, very difficult. This prapatti has to be understood. It is both jnanam and vijnanam in living. We'll continue next week. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.